Hey guys, good morning. It's another snowy day here. It's got me in the mood for Christmas again. One of the nice things about Christmas for music teachers is we get about a 2-month festival of Christmas music. We can start in early November to get people prepared to play enough Christmas songs that by the time we're on our break, which I'm entering into next week, they're ready to play a bunch of Christmas material for their family. Another nice thing about them that we've mentioned before is you can tackle a few concepts sort of out of order. We can get ahead of the natural learning curve and use Christmas songs to introduce a few ideas that you're not really going to run into in a progressive series of lessons in a normal way. But this way, you've heard the song so much, you'll be able to apply some of the elements just by instinct. Hopefully you've been following along in order from the beginning. You've been practicing the notes on your guitar. You've been memorizing them. You've been reading through the Hal Leonard. You've been using Cora B. Aaron's book to name notes. That's a great practice system where I would like a student to do about 2 lines of that book every single day. I would have students do 2 pages of that a week, and it's just sheer repetition, working out notes by Every Good Boy Deserves Fudge and Face, F-A-C-E. Hopefully that's all old hat to you right now, but I never know where you're dropping into this series. When you're reading your notes, I also have a few little tricky identifiers. The B is right dead in the center of your staff. We think of a belt on the belly of a person right through the middle. The A is the first note that we see below that middle line where the stem is going up. The shape of the note and the stem going up reminds me of an ant's head, so I put an ant there. We also talk about pressing your finger onto the ant, so when you see an A note, you know it's a fretted note as opposed to the open G. One of the issues of doing this and not individually tailoring these lessons to one particular student is I can't find your interests, aptitudes, and even weaknesses to work on. So I'm going through everything in a logical order, but going in many directions at once. We're seeing scales, chords, notes, fretboard knowledge, all of this coming at you one lesson at a time, and you probably will notice that there's just too much information for you to absorb everything all at once. As I've mentioned, that's not the intention. Every one of these lessons should take about a week, and some of them are introducing concepts that will really only be applicable months down the road. That said, everything we're working on, you should be trying to get into your system. So we want to work on notes, we want to work on scales, and we want to do chords. But you may go off on one direction for a little while, explore the chords a little bit more, then come back later to the notes. I've noticed so far that there's more interest in chorded songs than in these melodies. That's natural. Most people want to learn the chords. That looks like guitar playing to them. What they want to do with their guitar is play campfire songs, entertain people by strumming and singing. But I do recommend that you go and learn your notes as well. The notes on your guitar really inform your chords. We haven't talked about that very much yet, but that's going to develop the way the chords work and how you think about them. When people talk about chords, it's nice to be able to tell you which note you're on in a chord and not just describe the fret number. It also aids your greater musical development. Every aspect of your brain is coming into play, and part of this is language acquisition. Reading music is like reading a language, and this is really good for you. It develops your entire musical outlook, and it also develops the connections in your brain that solidify your music. We don't have to review all of this. If you've been following along at all, you know that your open strings are named E, A, D, G, B, and E. You've developed the notes on each of the strings. In Jingle Bells, E, F, G, B, C, and D here. As we got further into Clair de la Lune and Aurelie, we got onto the G string with the G and the A. We have touched on the D string a little bit, and we've also filled in the G pentatonic major and the E pentatonic minor. I want to highlight those notes here for a second. Here then is G major pentatonic. It is all the natural notes of the guitar that we learned in our natural note scale, but with the C's and F's or the F sharps removed. So we're pared down to 2 notes per string here. We've got open E and G, A, B, D, E, G, A, B, D, E, G. When we run into a lot of these songs in the key of G, they really focus on this pentatonic scale. They also will hit a lot of this middle area where it's open D string to the E note on the 2nd fret, open G string to the A note on the 2nd fret. So a good warm-up for you before you play a pentatonic song is to play those 2 strings, D to E, G to A. I'll just actually talk about a lot of these songs being opens and twos, so O2, O2, 2, O2, O, O2, O2. Physically, I'm just getting used to them. Also, I want to know their names. D, E, G, A, D, E, G, A, D, E, G, A, G, E, D. Most of the songs that will use those will also include the B and the D, so we can add that. Starting on the 4th string, open 2, 3rd string, open 2, 2nd string, open 3. D, E, G, A, B, and D. D, B, A, G, E, D. This little region of the scale that we're working on starts on the D and goes up to a D. This is very popular in music, to take a scale, put the scale note basically in the middle of your melody, that's the G, go up to the 5th, the D above, and maybe down to the 5th, the D below. That's not any kind of hard, fast rule, but those do set nice parameters. It will also include this C. When I include that C, you might wonder then, why am I referring to this as a pentatonic song? That's because probably 90% of the material is based on only the 5 notes of the pentatonic. At certain moments, especially if we're on a C chord, we'll include the C note. So I'm going to split the screen here. I'll put a screen in screen here so you can read Up on the Housetop along with me. You'll see that it starts on your D note. Every good boy deserves fudge. There's your D, so we start there. We start on that D, go up to the open E, come back down to the D, and work our way down and up the pentatonic. At one point we will add the C notes. So what I would do with this is read through it with you, have you name the notes for a bar or two, then play them, name some more. If you're naming them with some struggle, we go further and further. If you rattle off the first line easily and it's no challenge at all, then we just start playing. Some of you will be able to play the entire song just on first sight. This is called sight reading. Others would have to work out a handful of notes and play each bar at a time. Either way is perfectly fine. Just work to your own aptitude. The other thing we would do with this is a lot of times I'll start to find your weaknesses. I'm looking at the music right now, and if you are struggling with, say, the B note, I might actually have you locate all the B's in the song. So you just find it on that line, scan the song, here's a B, here's a B, here's a B. So let's give this a try. I'm going to play it slowly. I'm going to put it on the screen here, and you can play all the way through. This will be slow speed. You should name the notes, then play them, then play while you name. I'm not going to pause all the way through. We'll just go right through once here. We're in 4/4 time, counting in 1, 2, 3, 4. D, D, E, D, B, G, B, D, high E, D, B, A to D. D, D, E, D, B, A, G, B, D, high E, A, D, G. Now we're on C's. C, C, E, D's to B, A to C, B to D, G, B, D, D, E, D, B. Here's another C, D, E, D's. Now you've arrived at the end of the song. You've entered an area near the end of the song where we have a repeat sign. That's the double dot with the double line. And above that is a little number 1 and 2. That means the first 2 times in here, you play those notes. A, D, and G. You hit the repeat sign and start the song again. Vocally, you'll be doing another verse now. When you get down here the second time, you hit the repeat sign and start again. When you get down here the third time, you don't use ending 1 or 2, you jump over them to ending 3. Turns out it's the same notes. They're just using that basically to teach you how it works. So it again, it'll be A, D, G. Certain movements we talked about in other songs are quite difficult at first. The D to A move that we ran into, both in Au Clair de la Lune and Aurélie, we see in this song. So you see it is something you need to develop. Get used to finding those 2 notes. Practice any single bars that are hard for you a few times. Right now, you'd probably be building it up one bar at a time. Now I also want to look at the chords. You see we only have 3 chords, G, C, and D7. We've talked a little bit about that. I'm going to do a full discussion soon on primary chords, but when we're in the key of G, we fully expect to see 3 major chords, G's, C's, and D's. If you number them from the G, G is 1, G, A, B, C is 4, and D is 5. The 5th chord, the D, can have that 7 on it, so it can be a D7. Those are the 3 major chords in the key of G. They're called the primary chords. In any key, the 3 major chords are the primary chords. Here's your little version of them, G, C, and D7. Depending on when you're getting to this lesson, those are probably sufficient for you right now. While you're playing the song, we count into 4/4 again, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then play these chords at that tempo. Let's try that out. 1, 2, 3, 4. G, another bar of G. The next bar has 2 C's and 2 G's, then D7s for a bar. 2, 3, 4. G, another bar of G. Recognize we're repeating our idea. 2 C's, 2 G's, a D7, and a G for 2 beats. The chorus, C to G to D7 to G. That's 4 bars of the chorus. We have another G now. C, G, C. Last line, G, 2 D's, 2 G7s, and you'd be back to the top. I reverted to full chords there unconsciously, broke away from my little chords. Either one will work. Before we're done, I just want to draw the full chords in here for you. So you've got your 3-string G, where you're holding a G note, 3-string C, where you're holding a C note, the triangle for D7, so that's G, C, and D7. We developed that G so you can throw another G on the bottom of it, and a B note here. The C has the diagonal line. If you've been through any of the chord videos with me, these are not a surprise to you at all. So there's your full G. That one has 3 fingers. You could also do a 4th finger version. The last thing I want to mention about the song are the 8th notes. In the first bar, you'll recognize there's 2 notes that are beamed. We have our quarter notes, and then these 2 with the beam are called 8th notes. When you sing the song or play the notes, you'll recognize they're faster. You've got the tune, Up on the Housetop. So on the, those 2 notes are jammed into the space of one of the quarter notes. Each one is getting half the beat, so they're called 8th notes. There's 2 per beat, or each one gets half the beat. So that would be counted 1, 2, and 3, 4. Back in school, that might have been ta, ti, ti, ta, ta for you. Wherever you see those beamed notes for now, those are 8th notes. We've learned whole notes, which get 4 beats, the whole bar. Half notes, half a bar, 2 beats each. Quarter notes, it takes 4 to fill a bar, so they're 1 beat each. Then it would take 8 eighth notes to fill a bar. If there's only 4 beats and 8 notes, they get half a beat each, or 2 per beat. You would count them 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So bar 1 here, you'd count 1, 2, and 3, 4. Up on the housetop. You've probably already used 8th notes in Jingle Bells and probably in Ode to Joy depending on how you heard it, but this is the first time we've seen them. Once again, we're in 4/4 time. I'll go fairly slowly here. 1, 2, 3, 4. G, C, chorus. Ending 2, repeat. Last time chorus. Retard. That's a fermata, the pause. Your last note has a little fermata written over it. That's the dot with the curve. That just means pause and hold that note longer. Check that out, and I'll talk to you guys later. Take her easy. Bye.